Hey YouTube, it's Jamie, smoking in my car. My basket pipe again. Rocca. And some tobacco called Mountain Camp. Mountain Camp. It's in English, I think. It tastes some Latakia in it. I certainly smelled it in the bag. I think it's an arrow. I'll have to look it up. I know almost nothing about it, but it's called Mountain Camp. It's pretty good. Like, I left it. A buddy of mine got it for me. A buddy of mine went to the brick and mortar and was getting himself some stuff, and he brought me back a couple ounces of it. It's pretty good. Yeah. I'm not sure what the topping is. Some kind of topping. I don't have the palate that some of you guys have. You know what I mean? Some of you guys have, you could really tell, like, all the different toppings and casings, and it's got to be very obvious for me to be able to tell. I'm sure this has, I'm going to guess and say it has Latakia Orientals in Virginia, which makes me think it's, some kind of English with a topping. I'll look it up though. Mountain Camp. That's the only thing that was written on the back. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about is yesterday I did a post about my 3 books that I had written before in the past in the Masonosphere. I had written 3 books for a Masonic audience. But now I got this astrology book coming up, a much wider, broader demographic, much bigger demographic. And it's on a much larger, more established publishing imprint, right? So this is a big deal. This is like, let's put it this way, if I were a band, like a rock band or something, this would be the equivalent of signing a major label contract. This is like, in the publishing world, not a ton of dough in it if you're only putting out 1 book, but in the publishing world, this is a big deal. This is like being on a major label, particularly in my kind of wheelhouse or area of study, astrology, etc., Western esotericism. Anyway, what I really wanted to do, and what I have to start doing, because my manuscript, I'm 37,000 words into it. It's going to be about 55,000 words when it's done, so I've got, obviously, about 20,000 words left or right. And I've got to put the whole thing into shape. So I need to start and I started this manuscript a couple of years ago, and I put it down for like 6 months, but I gotta start getting my head back in that game again, and putting this manuscript together. So part of that is me being able to formulate my ideas about it, to tell you or anybody what this book is about, because you're just thinking, okay, it's some astrology thing. And it is, but it's a very sort of specialized astrology thing, so it's hard to talk about. Particularly to the, layperson who doesn't know about the minutia of this species of astrology. It's very specialized, I understand that. But here, I'm going to try it right now. I'm going to see if I can do this in 3 minutes. Here's what my new book is about. About 2,000-3,000 years ago, the Babylonians started to divide the ecliptic up into signs, 30-degree segments of the ecliptic. That is the apparent path of the sun around the earth from the perspective of the earth. They divided them up into signs. That's where you get those zodiac signs, right? But they also, a little later, divided those signs up into smaller arc segments, you know, not just 12 30-degree ones, but also 36 10-degree ones, for example. And those are the decans. Well, there's a lesser known degree of arc called the quinaries. These are, as the name would imply, they're 5-degree segments of arc, and there are 72 of those in a 360-degree circle. Because you divide 360 by 72, you come up with 5. So there's 5-degree arc segments. There are 72 of them, and those are called the quinaries. Quin, like 5. Each of those quinaries is ruled by a certain entity. Call it an angel, call it a daemon, you know. Ruled by an entity. So, and then you start looking a little later in Exodus, when Moses was parting the Red Sea. There's 3 chapters or 3 lines in Exodus that have 72 letters each. And the ancient, or the Kabbalists, early Kabbalists in the medieval period, saw the significance of that. So they associated an angel. They made this angelic name. They call it the angels of the Shem HaMephorash. And the Shem HaMephorash are these 72 angels. And these angels, each of those angels is associated with one of those 5-degree arc segments. There's 72 of them. And then later, in the, King Solomon had this grimoire tradition, right? He was known as a magician and an exorcist. King Solomon, David's son, in the Old Testament. Well, there are these demons that Solomon commanded by use of a ring to build the Temple of Solomon. According to some stories, he used these demons. There are 72 of them, the demons of the Ars Goetia. So 72 angels, 72 demons, each of which are associated with a 5-degree arc segment, and there are 72 of those on the ecliptic. Each of those quinaries are ruled by a pair, an angel and a demon. An angel and a demon rule each one of those pairs. So in astrology, we're looking at planets in signs, typically. Oh, your sun is in Scorpio, your moon is in Libra, etc. But what we could also be looking at is, oh, your sun is under the rulership of this angel or that and that demon. Or your Mercury is, being in the 17th degree of Scorpio is ruled by this demon and this angel, this pair, this angelic daimonic pair, right? And when I say demon, let me clarify something. When I say demon, I'm not talking about a Satan, Lucifer, devil, demon, like a Linda Blair, like The Exorcist. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a completely different concept that precedes all of that. Before this idea of a demon became so it was kind of satanic. This has zero to do with that. You just have to believe me. I've done this research. Zero to do with it. Anyway, that's kind of what the book's about. I'll tell you, the video's getting long, and I got to streamline that down. This is my first time in a while just telling what it's about. But I'm excited about it, and I've got 20,000 more words to write. I'll talk to you later.